Welcome any and all to the Movie Club Collective, the show where each week we announce a new movie and then we give you some time to watch it and have a thoughtful discussion about it, or at least we attempt to.
Some kind of thoughtful discussion.
Yes. Joining us this week for the first time on the show, Chris Piccione.
What up?
We are, in fact, in his studio.
Papa Piccione.
So we're
He's freeze. Did he freeze on the screen?
We're in Papa's
Take
house.
a look at the...
What? No.
Is he frozen? Here is frozen.
He's frozen for you?
He's frozen for me.
But my
But like
my
the good
feet's
thing is
fine.
that I can see him right in front of me. So
Way to just...
oh, him froze.
I
Him froze.
move.
Yeah, he can move.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Oh,
I'm alive.
so
Don't
relief.
worry about it. I'm
Such
good.
a relief.
All right. Also in the studio is Jose.
Yes.
Freaking out about nothing. Thank you for joining us.
Drowning in a glass of water.
And joining us from Los Angeles, Nick Landa. Thank you.
Hello.
Once a regular guest on the show.
Whoa. It's so dark in LA.
So we have a very special episode this week.
We have super special episode.
We watched Serendipity this week, starring John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale. From 2001, coming in at an hour and a half. We had our first romantic comedy.
Yes.
So one of the reasons we picked this movie is because we felt kind of like we were due for romantic comedy, and Jose just like gave me a choice between two movies.
What was
So-
the other movie choice
So
by
it was
chance?
it was this one or Notting Hill,
Yeah.
and I picked this one because I hadn't seen it. So I went with the unknown.
Good choice because Notting Hill was kind of garbage.
See, I like Notting Hill actually.
Really? You
Yeah.
like that British stuff?
Sometimes, not all the time.
Not me. I'll pass. But anyway.
Yes. From time to time.
So interesting.
Jose, you recommended this movie. Tell us a little bit about your history with this film. Set us up.
My history with this film. Well,
Yeah, like why this film?
well, full disclosure, I like romantic comedies are one of my go-to genres. Like it's a guilty pleasure.
You're a
like
fan.
I'm a fan of the genre of romantic comedies, and the movie of Notting Hill and Serendipity are among my top favorite.
Okay, those are the two
movies.
favorites.
Those are my two favorites. Sometimes one steals from the other one, like the top, and then it comes down and it goes up. But it's always like I used to consider Notting Hill my all-time favorite, but Serendipity is such close that sometimes they overlap too much for me. This is
What about
like,
you,
this is how
Chris?
much-
Had you seen this before?
I've seen Notting Hill and I saw Serendipity when it came out, but I haven't seen it since then. So it was 2001?
Yeah, 2001.
So it's been 15 years since
been a-
I've
it's
seen
been
this
a- it's been a
movie,
wait.
14 years.
Not
And
too
I
long.
Yeah, and I did watch it on the train on my way home from work a couple hours ago. So it's super fresh in my head.
fresh.
Yeah, so I got a lot of interesting feedback for you.
All right. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I hadn't seen this movie. I like completely missed this movie. I don't remember seeing trailers for this movie. I don't remember really. This movie came and went, and I didn't notice at all. I was busy in high school or whatever, living
Interesting.
a life separate from this movie. So like, I only really heard about this movie in the last couple of years. Jose's mentioned it a couple of times. Since then, I've heard it referenced in like TV shows or stuff like that. So I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't really like the poster. That's all I'd really seen.
Poster is really bad.
Yeah. And
The
Kate
poster.
Beckinsale to me is just like a werewolf hunting vampire. Like, I've
Really?
never seen her in this kind of movie before.
Not even Pearl Harbor.
I didn't see Pearl Harbor.
Was she in Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, she's the North. She's oh my god. Of course.
I
she's in
remember.
Pearl
I
Harbor.
remember her in the movie Everybody's Fine with Robert De Niro.
Didn't
Oh,
see
I
that
remember
one
that.
either.
I don't. know
Yeah,
if
it
I've
was
seen
pretty
that movie.
recent. It was a couple of years ago. If you want to cry a lot, watch that fucking movie.
Oh, Everybody's Fine. That's the one where he's like the agent, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Kate-
didn't see it.
Kate Beckinsale, it's like you know, I fell in love. I had such a crush
She's
on Becky
fine.
Beckinsale, like from the, and I think it started with Serendipity. It's like if you tell me like if you could be with any Hollywood person,
To me, it was
would
like
be her.
Underworld.
It
Was
was
the
like
first
it's
time I
like
ever saw it.
downs, head downs there.
See, I'm looking at the movie poster now, and I have to agree with John. It's fucking dog shit.
It's not a good poster, and it's the only
It's an
image
awful
that you ever
poster.
see of it.
They were
It's
like,
an awful poster.
lean your head on his shoulder. All right, stick it in there. All right, we're good.
Put a clock.
We're good.
Put a clock.
Yeah.
New York
I
scenery.
think it sums up the movie.
All right.
Pretty much.
Nick, what about you?
I've
Nick.
never seen this. Similar to you, I don't really remember it, but I saw it today, like a couple hours ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
I saw it last night. So we've all seen it within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Now, I
Yeah.
think.
He's very fresh.
I saw it like 24 hours ago.
Good. I saw it like
and you were not a
16.
fan of the poster either, Nick?
I probably would like the poster better than the film. I'll have to look at
All right.
Oh, really? Oh, we're gonna have fucking fighting words.
This is gonna be great. This is gonna
So,
be.
in a word,
it.
hated the film. All right. I want to hear. What's top 2 complaints. Like, what are the big? What are the big?
Oh my god!
I wanna
We're
hear.
starting with the
Yeah,
complaints.
let's start
Arrow
with
me
that.
with two.
I just want to
So,
hear
Nick-
for starters.
Well,
just
Nick
kick us
hated
off
the
with
movie,
one
so
or two
Nick,
things.
you go first, man.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear from.
But we're
I
gonna
want to
get-
hear from Nick.
we're gonna
What
get
the
honestly
grievances.
now.
It's just like completely unsympathetic characters. Like the movie starts off and they're already like gonna cheat. Like first off, like bam, like they meet, they both have boyfriend, girlfriend. They're like, let's go get some ice cream, go ice skate rinking, or go to ice skate and all this kind of crap. So I'm like, okay, this is.
I mean, yeah,
bizarre.
they go on a date.
And they're just, I
They
just
straight up.
could not stand these two characters. Like, first of all, she's super annoying with the whole superstitious thing when the, truck drives by and the writing on the dollar bill and the elevator thing. And I was like, this movie was like eye rolling the whole time for me. Couldn't stand the character. So, and then also like, the entire movie, it's not like they're set. You see a lot of romantic comedies where like they're obviously with someone who they shouldn't be, but a lot of the time it's like, oh, this person's an asshole, or this person cheats, or this person, they were not that bad people they were with, especially John Cusack. Like, poor woman.
I did feel
in this
bad for
film.
his girlfriend
I felt so
at
bad.
points.
I mean,
Yeah.
first of all, and the worst part of the movie, she ends up giving him as a gift the key to leaving her, which is like ultimate horrible. Like, I just thought that was so bad. And then the boyfriend, the hippie boyfriend or whatever.
You mean my big fat Greek
Yeah,
wedding
my
guy?
big Greek
Yeah,
wedding.
exactly. But, yeah. That guy, the only bad thing is that, he took his job, his job was important to him, but it wasn't as much as you see in other films also, I feel like. Like, anytime he got a business call, Kate Beckinsale ran away, which I thought was
No,
so good.
I have a rebuttal for that. I'm just going to throw out there. Because, like, he proposes to her and then immediately says, like, oh, I need to tell my agent.
Yeah,
Like, he's
that I'm
immediately on the
going
phone.
this
And
road
he walks
gig.
out of the room and just, like, leaves her there with the ring in her hand.
I mean, he was a pretty...
Like, he's pretty obnoxious.
I've seen way more in other rom-coms. I mean, like in Wedding Singer or something like that kind of douchebag or something. But I don't know. I just thought that they were the tamest people to leave in any rom-com I've ever seen.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Do
I
we
just
have
feel like-
any
See, I wanted
opposing
this.
views?
See, I wanted this. I knew for the moment, from the moment that
You were
Nick-
just bitching 30 seconds ago. Why are we starting with complaints? What do you mean you wanted this?
No, I don't know. This like because when I figured that Nick hated it, I thought like, well, now is the chance for you to, like, you will hear things that you cannot see in this movie.
Okay.
You are so
So
compromised.
let's hear. I want to hear
by
some
this
of them.
movie,
Yeah.
and I feel that I could say things that
Okay.
I completely, because it's interesting. I have thought about the fact, like it's, but I saw it as a possible thing. The fact that in every romantic comedy, you always see the same. You always see these people who are with horrible people, and then they clearly should be together, and then these other people are easy to leave, and then you always see these characters that are super dateable. You always see these people who have no flaws, who just like, who wouldn't want to marry this girl? Who wouldn't marry this guy? Like, we see them and they're sweet, they're better than everybody around them. It's like, and then you see these two guys who just meet, and then they can go away from the fact that there is something between them. And then yes, they have boyfriend, girlfriends, but it doesn't mean that this is not a real rule It doesn't mean that if I see somebody else and it's like the fucking love of my life, and I feel in it, and I just have a boyfriend or girlfriend. I mean, yes, they took it far with the thing that both were gonna get married, but that is the whole point of the movie. The whole point of the movie supports the premise of the freaking premise that people keep following of like the one person that you will find, the soulmate, and these people finally get to a point in which you say these other two couples, they're not bad people. I feel horrible about the fact that they took the completely short end of this. But this is a movie where a person says at some point, I was going to marry the wrong person and I better walk out before I do that mistake, because otherwise I'm dragging this other person with my shit for the rest of our life and we're eventually going to be miserable. If I'm already thinking about another person, because this guy called the wedding off. Yes, it is a very hard and bad thing to do to this girl, but what would have been worse? To just marry her while you keep thinking about another woman? Like, this is the actual ending. He just let her go. Go like, look, I'm sorry, it took me too long. They don't show it to you because it's a romantic comedy. But at the end of the day, it's a person just grabbing life by the balls and going like, I'm not going to buy everything that everybody else said. I'm going to just look for my happiness, and eventually that will actually work for the other person too. So, and it's magical. I mean, the fucking fact that he's looking for this book and she gives it to him. I mean, to me, it was like, how could you avoid that? How, like, if that happens to you, if you are you're thinking about this other woman and then the woman you're going to marry just gives you the book that you've been looking for, like, are you going to still marry this person? You're going to do that to this person?
I don't know if you respond with, it's perfect.
Because in the elevator scene, I would have hit lobby and gotten the fuck out of there. Because the second I met someone who's that crazy, I'd have been like, okay, you know what, lady?
But they do a complete role reversal.
Well, then but that's the thing. That? Is someone crazy enough for you? Like, can he keep up with her
I think
crazy?
It's magical. I don't know. Like, I'm like.
So I think you hit on the movie's saving grace, which is that they have to give up their relationship for their own reasons.
But they don't show that. See, I agree with Jose, what he's saying. But the biggest problem is that the two most dramatic moments of this whole movie are not even in the movie, which is when they should tell that to the couples.
Yes.
We do not see when she tells the guy, because we get it over a cell phone call with Molly Shannon, where she's like, did you talk to him? Yeah, we talked this morning, and everything's fine. Everything's fine. You just broke up your wedding. And then later we arrive at the wedding and it's over. So the two most dramatic moments in this entire story were cut out.
It's true.
I was like, I agree with what you're saying, that, yeah, it's different. That these are people who aren't horrible people like in most rom-coms, but then show us breaking up with those people. Like, let me see that. That's the drama. Like,
it's true. It's true.
No,
I've never saw the perspective that you're bringing. Like, honestly, I was so blind by this would be awesome. Like, this is such a connection. Like, who wouldn't want this to happen? Like, the opposite to other movies. Like, this is people who had a life and then chose to say, oh fuck, at some point, like, this is not really what I want. I want something else. I keep thinking about this other thing. I'm gonna freaking pursue it, even if I look like a jackass. And I go like, that's a good message. Yeah, you're just trampling people along the way. And you're right, they should have shown that. And I have been completely oblivious, except for the fact of thinking like, oh, that must have hurt for the other people. But that was the extent of my thoughts about it. It's crazy.
It must have hurt, yeah.
It's like, oh my God, that gotta hurt.
I'm sure Hallie is suicidal now.
What was your take, Chris? Yeah.
For my complaints?
Sure.
Or in general. I mean, we started with complaints. This guy goes off on a fucking tangent. So I don't even know where we stand right now.
He wanted something
but
the opposite view.
If I have to start with complaints, now, like I said, the movie's super fresh in my head. I haven't seen it in 15 years. I'm a lot older now. I agree. Or actually, in the very beginning, I find it completely hard to believe that you would meet somebody, whether it's over a pair of gloves or whatever the case, and then 5 minutes later, you're like, oh, let's go ice skating or roller skating, whatever it is. Oh, let's go get ice cream. Let's go to the Waldorf Astoria. I find that impossible to believe.
How rich are these people?
Anytime, not even a matter of money.
How rich
but
are they? They are 1%.
Even when I've like met girls over the years on like dating sites or in general, I'd be like, cool, you want to go get coffee? Cool, let's go get a cup of coffee and we'll hang out and talk for 3 hours. Cool, I got to go home for work. I'll see you later. Call me tomorrow, or beat me. So that was a big complaint that I felt it happened way too fast. It was all too convenient. And there was way too many things going on in one night. Everything else I felt was okay. I agree with the marriage shit. It was just like, no big deal. See you later.
Yeah.
Bye bye. But what I tended to love the most, especially now getting older. Oh, I'm sorry. One more complaint. Way too many coincidences of fate and destiny. Like way fucking too many. If there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would have gone, cool, it happens. Just like you break up with a girl or a guy.
It's the dollar bill.
You're
and
thinking about him.
And it's the piece of paper. And it, the what?
And the roommate.
And the roommate.
And the roommate
everything.
Connecting to the wedding.
Like, I get it. There's plenty of times
over
like
and over.
A girl and I have broken up. And then like 3 months later, I hear somebody say their name. And it's like they already have an odd name as it is. So someone saying it makes me think of them. Yeah. But it's not like, oh, and then the next day I read this and then a truck drives by and I'm like, oh my God, I totally have to go find her. I have to fly to San Francisco and spend $900 on a last minute flight. Like that would fucking never happen. I don't think anybody's that crazy.
See,
so what are some of the pros then?
So what I tended to like is the fuck you, I get 30 seconds to speak.
Yeah, right? You went on.
What I loved was that there's a huge hopeless romantic in me. And it's always been there since I was a kid. And I eat this shit up. I fucking love it. And the possibility that you can meet somebody one night, if we're generalizing, that you can meet somebody in one night, have an awesome time. And because your lives are at different moments, and this has happened to me in real life, and I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people. And you go, cool, the timing is just bad. And if it's meant to be down the road, we'll get together down the road. So if you took out all the crazy sign bullshit and they happen to just meet in like some weird way, that I love. And it still brought up something in me. I was like, man, I wish I could have that. You know, I wish there was that moment again. We all had those moments where we've met somebody and been like, oh, this is perfect. They're the one. The timing's bad. Like, that hopeless romantic part made me still love the movie.
Right.
Word.
all right.
I dig it.
Johnny's move.
There's the inner soft
Johnny's
spot.
move.
And,
See that face?
and I have to say, Kate Beckinsale, still absolutely fucking beautiful to this day.
She hasn't aged a day.
Yes.
From this
Slightly.
movie.
Like some bags under her eyes,
getting
and that's
better.
it.
Not like John Cusack.
Not like John Cusack.
Fucking rough.
And I do
Definitely.
have to say,
He's had a little sandpaper.
I think they were perfectly cast, and setting it at Christmas time in New York City was perfect.
Okay.
Fiend.
Some perfections there. Yeah,
Scene.
so
I feel that the way that this is going is like somebody says something negative and I need to just like go like, no.
I came into this movie feeling very cynical, actually. I thought I was gonna feel like Nick. Like, I didn't want to watch the movie. I just, like, the poster looked really cheesy. It just looked like it was gonna be really tropey, which it kind of is. But then I watched it and like at first like it was like full cynical. I was like, oh, this is so hammy. Like also you can see the camera on the crane in the window as it pans down.
Yes.
There's like a really clear shot of the camera. I was like, way to put a giant error in your opening shot. So like I started off just really kind of like, oh, like eye rolling. Oh, gloves, right. These weird unisex gloves that just, we can use for anybody. But then like as the movie went on, it did kind of win me over. Like I enjoyed genuinely the side characters.
Eugene Levy, American Pie.
And Jeremy Piven is a great side. Even Molly Shannon isn't like too weird and crazy. Like she's just
I actually
good level
liked
of
her a
energy.
lot in this.
Yeah, she's a good solid level of energy.
Well, what it made it better for her is when she was outside the elevator and she started doing all that weird like, I'm Molly Shannon. I have to be super energetic.
Yeah.
If she didn't have that, I would have fucking loved her in this movie. She would have been awesome.
Yeah. I think I loved her in
that
this
moment.
movie.
That
anyway.
moment was weird.
The only bit I didn't like with the side characters was at the end with Eugene Levy. like the last gag of the movie where he's like helping. I was just like, get out of here, Eugene Levy. Like, just like, why are you like just like butting into the middle of?
Well, American Pie was done, so he's like, I need some money.
Yeah, right? I mean, I liked him otherwise in the film. I liked the bit where he was like right over Jeremy Piven's shoulder and like giving him a massage.
Yeah.
Just like it was really random.
Oh, I love the thing. Just carbon copied it because this is why America rejected it.
Yeah, and Jeremy Piven has a nice little arc of his own where he realizes that he doesn't want to be in his marriage.
He was pretty good in this. I liked Jeremy Piven a lot.
Yeah.
You know, the only miscast I thought was the husband, the fiance of
The fiance, I hate that guy.
I love his shtick though with the flute. Like he was genuinely obnoxious.
And he is the worst part of that thing for me. I hate him so much.
Thinking, like Paul Rudd would have killed something like this or someone.
Yes.
Like
I mean, this like Anchorman 3 years later kind of lampoons his character where he's got the jazz flute.
But don't you think? But Nick, don't you think though that we needed somebody like him that we just fucking hate? Otherwise, the whole movie would have been the same tone for all the characters.
I felt like the parts that were supposed to be comedic that they were pushing weren't really as funny as they could have been. Like, you know, the whole jazz flute stuff, like when they're showing the music video, I was like,
I don't know. I was cracking
the
up.
actor.
It has his thing. I mean,
because he's so like he just looks like this preppy white dude, and to like have him doing this whole like long haired flute thing.
Standing ovation.
Oh yeah, it's like it's just.
I was like,
yeah.
He just sold out in Sweden. I was like, who is like going for this crap? Like, this is why couldn't they make him like a rock star or something?
Swedish
like,
people.
Yeah. Another con I had with the movie was I kind of agree with Nick in that like I didn't really like John Cusack throughout most of the movie.
It's a little douchey.
Like his girlfriend, there's nothing really offensive about her.
No.
He just doesn't have any interest in her really.
Other than
and
she
like
have sex all the time. I mean, like literally, like
like she's playful and like the perfect girlfriend.
She's perfect. This
awesome.
woman is just like it's marriage material. Like it's just like it's incredible.
Yeah.
This woman is.
So I did find him kind of like not so charming because of that.
Yeah, I know.
I did like that he ultimately just kind of has to decide to break up with her. And I think we do get the point of decision, even if we don't get the breakup. The other thing I liked about the script is that it was kind of clever in the way that it established the rules of serendipity. The fact that like it had to be an accident. I really like that. Like the more you try to make it happen, the less it's going to happen.
It was well thought out of how
what I mean?
they wanted to lay out when each thing happens, how it happens, how they find it. I totally agree with you. I was like, there's no flaws in this, really.
It's not until they give up. It's very kind of, almost like Whiplash. In that sense. Like it's when they give up that it can become an accident.
Yes.
It's just like they have to just kind of like be like, well, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
And it's really only when they both take that attitude of like, I'm not happy in the relationship I'm in. I want to be a free agent and like look out for Mr./Mrs. Right. That they can then like fate is willing to bring them together. So I like that concept. And I like that throughout. It plays out through John Cusack's story pretty well. Just like the fact that it's constantly saying you don't get to meet her because you're trying too hard to meet her. So I did like that. I thought that was clever.
It does. I mean, it does.
So that won over my hate. That
it won over
it beat out the cynicism in me, I guess.
Good. I mean, I'm glad because I mean, it's like look. It's a 2001 movie. There's no portrait of minorities. There's no it's just a white people, super rich white people, romantic.
Yeah, 1%ers.
Like this is people who spend money. Like if money was not.
Waldorf Astoria is like one of the most expensive hotels in New York City.
It's just this crazy thing. It's this perfect world in which you can afford anything you need in order to. This guy working at the time will just take the whole day off to just like go.
And there's like no stakes with the marriage in that regard.
There is nothing. Yeah,
they're rich people marrying rich people.
Yeah, exactly. This is just rich people marrying rich people. I mean, it's like freaking like they could could be princess and prince and a king of a king, like a prince of a kingdom, and like in the Middle Ages, and it would be like perfect scenario. Like would be like,
there were no hardships.
There's no, exactly. There's no
The guys
really
go
like,
golfing and shit like that.
yeah, no. This is just like they both have promising careers and stuff. They're both like super.
Didn't one of them fall down on the ice?
Yeah, she did.
Life is hard.
Kate Beckinsale did.
Yeah, life is
is
hard. Yeah.
Like she has freckles, and they coming in the form of constellations.
Cassiopeia.
Yeah. Not
I think
Cassiopeia.
that was just a cheesy pickup line.
He was kind of.
Cassiopeia,
like,
he's like, I
look,
can just find any
Look,
dots.
the way that this movie strike me, the way that this movie, the reason why I feel this movie, it's like some of the elements that you have brought as negative elements become positive elements for me, is that when you go, and this is something that I heard from somebody who was, because I was saying like nobody makes movies about real life. And then somebody says that, yeah, but real life happens all the way around you. You want to go to the movies to see what doesn't happen around you. So as much serendipitous aren't as much like impossibly possible for this to happen. You want to go to a movie to see the impossible. You want to go to a movie to see how these people missed each other for an entire day. And then it's not meant to be that this could happen. You could miss the love of your life in your entire day. But if you live in a city like New York and you live for like 8 years and you cross around people, who knows how many times you have actually bumped shoulders with somebody that you're meant to be with.
Well, that's why we have the dating app Happen.
It's true, but exactly. So it's exactly. It's just banking on that. It's the fact that because we cannot see it in a movie, because we cannot just watch the movie of our life and then see how many coincidences were. I bet you that if you were able to die and then just rewatch your life as this, in all the coincidences, you will be surprised at how many shit had happened that it's just so mild that you completely missed it. And then how important it actually came to be. And then what you were saying, like they were meant to meet at some point. The harder they try, the less that they find it. Just the other lesson of this movie is just like, this shit is going to come. It's just like, the moment you stop looking for it, then maybe it will appear. I don't know. We have heard this is just such an opposite speech. But that's what I wanted to see. I want to see fucking magic. I want to see two perfect people. I want to imagine that I am one of those two perfect people, and somewhere in the universe I could leave something like this and be like. They never
life
show
is
you the
kind of
marriage.
that way, right? Like
They never
when
show
you
you
stop
the marriage, though.
trying for something, sometimes that's when it comes to you.
I know, or I don't know. Like
I always took that approach to dating. Is like, why, like if you put so much effort into like dating and like, like setting up as many of these things as you can. Like, I feel like you do kind of miss out on this idea of the chance encounter that like you're going to run into somebody who is compatible with you at some point.
We'll always
like,
remember.
It's like, I feel like you're playing into the odds really. Like, I agree personally with what Kate Beckinsale says to the other person, like at the beginning of Act 2, where she's like, there's lots of other people that you're perfectly compatible with.
Oh, she says it to her patient or whatever.
Yeah, she says it to her patient. And I kind of agree with that. But I think it's like you just have to be open to like find a moment,
Well, always remember, if you're going to go meet the love of your life when it's freezing outside and you were told by your best friend it's freezing outside, that you still walk around in a thin blouse and not even look like you're cold.
Yeah, don't look like...
Just go to an ice rink without skates.
Without skates.
Without skates, so no one will kick you off.
Yeah, I was thinking about when he lays down on the ice, I was like, security would have been all over that.
And then she like shoots the glove like Kobe Bryant from like I don't know how far away, and then lands on him. I mean,
yeah, it's true. The glove did make it quite.
Yeah, well, that's what was so great is like right before Molly Shannon left, she's like, "Hey, it's cold outside. You should go put a coat on." She's like, "Oh, yeah, no, I'm good." And she's like, walks.
I mean, I get what Jose is saying about the whole like the suspending of disbelief and all that kind of stuff, but Lord of the Rings is more realistic than this movie as far as I'm concerned. Like that, it was. I had to like suspend it so much all the time. Every scene there was something I was like, come on, this. They're drinking in a department store. Come on, like, I mean, there's silly.
Who doesn't drink in a department store?
Yeah, right, yeah.
When you're in the 1%, anything goes.
The writing was good when it came to the stuff that you guys were saying as far as like, the serendipitous stuff here and there. But for all the other stuff, I really felt like they were lazy writers. I mean, look, here's one example. they said a few years later. They couldn't even put a fucking number.
They wanted
A
it to
few
be
years
timeless.
later,
They wanted it to be
sometime
timeless.
later,
It doesn't matter. That's what I got out of that. A few years ago, a few years later, it don't
I don't know.
matter.
I mean, I just felt like it was.
I think it's 10 years. It was
It doesn't matter.
It was 9 years. I think they
They don't
say
say.
at some
They
point.
totally
You
don't
come
say.
up with the amount of years, but yeah, do you get what I'm saying? Then put it on there. Like it's just little things like that. I just felt like they weren't thinking throughout the whole thing. They had these plot points. They're like, this is going to come back here, here, and here, and they did good. And then everything else, they were just like, all right, we got to fill this in.
Yeah, but you know, the other thing that this movie does is that it's that. I mean, and I don't know if this is just my own experience or it has happened to everybody. But you know, like you were saying, for example, it's like nobody goes on a date like this, and I'm feeling like everybody had some sort of form of this date. Somebody, like at some point in your life, you have had a girl in which you had a night that was completely unplanned.
Well, I mean, you can totally go on a date with somebody and do multiple things. But the fact that you would literally go like, oh no, these gloves are yours. Oh, they're for my boyfriend. No, they're for my girlfriend. And then next thing you know, you're eating at a place called Serendipity and ice skating and
pretty much cheating.
I know.
Yeah,
cheating on
they
each
go on
other.
a date. They
No,
go.
but look, I know what you mean, but they're just exaggerating the magical
And
date.
and she also basically said, if we wind up on the same floor, I'm gonna blow the shit out of you. And like, come on.
And they hit 23, which
also,
is my lucky number. I was
gotta-
like, they had to tweet.
I gotta side with
23.
Nick here when you say like, oh, but it's just the magical date. Like, well, then come up with a convincing magical date.
Yeah,
like,
I
don't
mean,
just have it
I
be over
know,
a pair of
I
gloves.
know.
that
I'm a 15-year-old girl. Like,
Well-
what
I
can
know
I
that.
say?
Well, like Nick said, the writing was pretty terrible. So the writers are like, how can we get these guys to meet? Gloves. Yeah, they're right there on the table.
They
Good.
were wearing gloves. Yeah.
it's a pair. And, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello.
You know who I thought was the funniest person in the whole movie?
So much
that?
that compromise.
Do you know, or who was the
Not
funniest?
Eugene?
What's that?
Not Eugene.
No, not Eugene. The little kid dressed as the devil in
The
the
little
elevator.
kid dressed as the devil. It's
He's good.
brilliant.
I was fucking dying
It's
every time he would just
brilliant.
look and be like, "Rah."
That's Hayden Christensen.
Is it really?
No.
Oh, it's like fucking Anakin.
Yeah.
Imagine it's like
just-
young
yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
Thank you
And
for
then
that.
classic rom-com comedy that ensued of like every time
No,
they
but-
left the elevator, it was like an army of people. It's like,
Yes,
"Is she
I
here
love.
yet?
Yeah.
No, she's not here. Come on, everyone's
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah, because
I
that
mean,
would
it's
totally
just
happen.
cute. It's just freaking cute. I mean, you know, I just think it's super good.
Especially in New York, I think people in an elevator be like, "Get the fuck off of me!
yeah.
Stop touching me!" They're like, "Oh, you gotta find a girl." Ah.
He's like, oh my
This
God.
was also a very easy time for John Cusack.
Yes.
Like,
Oh yeah.
this role
Moneymaker.
requires nothing of him, or frankly of her. Like, none
Yeah.
of the characters have no skills. Like, they don't have anything. Like, they don't have anything that they really have to display effort-wise. Like, they kind of go ice skating, but
you know what?
like they don't.
We do it all the time.
They don't do anything that's like impressive. Like, they're just really kind of generic. They walk and talk and like
And
are
that's
and
it.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't even get really emotional about it.
They're done. They're done.
So they just, their faces get close together, but
Did you have, or any of you guys, did you have any lines in the movie that stuck out for you, or like hit a chord in you?
I have moments.
But no like lines of dialogue.
Lines. I mean, the fact that I have to think about it makes me want to answer
No.
no. Because they would
Next.
come. They would just come. To
yeah, they
me.
weren't like.
I mean,
zingers.
probably I'll think about one or two eventually, but but nothing comes like
Nothing.
right.
I
on.
liked the extortion bit, but there's no real like highlight lines.
Yeah.
in there that are.
The only one that for some odd reason stuck with me, and it wasn't even anything crazy, is when
Baby Spice and Old Spice.
no
Spice
that
is
was
pretty
so
good.
fucking predictable.
Old Spice.
But the moment when they go to San Francisco to see her and they see the girl that looks like her fucking the other dude, and then John Cusack falls over and him and Jeremy Piven are laying down, and somebody says something like, "Why are we laying here?" And Jeremy Piven says, "Well, I think it's because you're not standing where you want to be."
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned it, when you were talking about that scene, he said, maybe we're laying down here because you don't want to be standing somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think that's one
That
of the
was a
greatest
good line.
That
I
was
was like,
one of the
"Oh,
greatest
yeah."
lines. Yeah, that's one of the good ones there. It's like, it's true. And it's what makes him like...
Yeah, because why the fuck are you running after someone else if you want to be with this other person?
Exactly. This is all. This is like you're just answering your own question right here. But
Yeah.
See, what would have saved the movie for me is if at the end, after she gets with John Cusack, it ends with Kate Beckinsale shopping for gloves, and then she meets another dude. And then the whole thing just restarts all over again. That'd have been the best, because then it'd be like, okay, they're just bad people. He's now going to get left.
Matrix Dippity.
Yeah, it would have made it a dark comedy. It would have totally.
Oh my God.
Inception Dippity.
that's great.
She's just like.
That is great. You're so offended by that. He's so offended by it.
I gotta say, no, dude, because I'm not a huge rom-com guy, but I do like a lot of, like, if a rom-com is good to me, then I dig it. I saw.
What's I wanted to ask everybody this anyway. Not Jose, because we know already. But what's your favorite? You got a favorite rom com?
Ooh, I don't know about a
Yeah, like if you had to
but
pick,
I do like.
what's the
I don't
best? Like
He's gonna go for classics.
I like Bridget Jones. I saw that one not too long ago.
Yeah,
That one was
classic.
actually pretty good. I like Wedding Singer. I like
Wedding Singer is a good one.
You Got Mail's pretty good too. I don't know. I can't pick one
kind
though.
of hate You Got Mail.
Yeah. You
Talk
got
about
mail.
not
Yeah,
liking
I'm
it.
not a fan
Hey.
of that one.
Yeah. Hate.
He's like, hey, I got mail.
Hey,
Because
that's
you
not
didn't
like-
get mail.
Just capitalizing on the internet. Ooh, new. The internet's
Mail.
new.
You got mail. There will be
People
one
have
day,
romance on it.
There will be one day in which people will see like you got what is mail? What are they talking about? What is that?
AOL.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, the modern would just be like a notification number.
What's your favorite rom com, Jose?
It's between Notting Hill and this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Maybe My Best Friend's Wedding.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite.
Interesting.
That one, Wedding Singer's also really good though. I thought that was an
No
inspired
Harold and
choice.
Maude.
No Harold and Maude.
No Ben and June.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's that one?
Is that a
When
rom-com?
Harry Met Sally. That's a great one.
When Harry Met Sally.
Thank you, Nick. That was going to be one of mine.
That's not yours.
Awesome.
When Harry Met Sally was a great one.
I mean, it's a classic. It's just,
Two other ones.
They have-
I
yeah, they
know.
have
I know. There's a
generally
Sleepless in
bajillion.
Seattle is just like wow.
Yeah, there's a million of them, but the three that hit me right away when you asked it was When Harry Met Sally. 4 of them. Sorry, Wedding Singer. I agree with all you guys. 50 First Dates.
That one's
that's
really
good.
hard for
Oh,
me
you
to
like
get
50?
through. It's so
Really?
depressing. That
Fuck
concept.
you. I love that movie.
It's just like it's a really powerful story concept.
Yeah,
and I
of
just
course
feel
it's
like
sad,
yeah,
but it's
like
good.
fucking-
And Just Friends.
Just Friends is I would
Oh.
put it in the underrated category for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Underrated, yeah.
There's some really funny stuff in
It's
Just Friends.
very comedic, but
Yeah.
it's definitely a very like we're lifelong friends and we love each other.
It's a movie where I hated the premise, and then I like enjoyed the movie.
The opening scene with him singing "What is it, Boys to Men" as a fucking fat kid is like the funniest thing ever.
I haven't seen it.
Really?
I don't think I haven't.
I have
Ryan
a DVD
Reynolds.
of it in the other room. Watch
You
it.
got a lot of DVDs in there.
Watch it and get over Serendipity.
DV what? get over the
Yeah, it's actually
Serendipity
way
thing.
better than Serendipity.
Another thing I gotta ask you guys what you thought, because like I'm always paying attention to music and films, because like soundtrack is super important to me.
Of
I
course.
hated this movie soundtrack. I hated it too.
Like,
I'm sorry. Could you say that again? How'd you feel about it?
I hated it so bad, dude. It was every song that came on. I was like, wow, this is like like it's either really cheesy or it's really shitty. Like the best music was the jazz flute, dude. As far as
Yeah.
the best music in the
Really?
great.
You know what? I would agree with that just in the sense that it was the only music that was memorable.
yeah.
I'd
think-
say Forgettable was kind of the music in this movie for me.
I think there was one song that I was like, oh, maybe I'll try to find that on YouTube later. Like, and that was about it. I agree. Score or soundtrack is super fucking important in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without
they
it, your
didn't
movie
go the
sucks.
like cheesy time stamp route, but they also didn't go like memorable song. Like it's just
True.
background. Yeah, it's just kind of it doesn't really enhance the film that much,
No,
which is a shame.
not at all.
Yeah,
I cried on this movie.
you cried.
I cried on this movie.
When?
Was it when? When?
Yeah.
You said something to me a while back where you're like, "There's a scene in this movie."
Oh, it's when she gives in the book.
It's when she gives in the book.
That's my favorite scene.
That's your favorite scene?
That's my favorite.
Tell me-
That's my favorite.
tell me
That was
why.
one of the most predictable scenes besides the Old Spice line in that movie.
Why?
I
want to know. I want to hear
What is Nick saying?
the positivity.
I said I cried when I found out there was an hour left in the movie.
At that book point.
Why?
I don't like. It's just look.
You can't tell me that's the favorite unequivocally and not have a reason why.
No, of course. It's just look. Like one of the things that I connected with this movie is that
John Cusack's ass.
is John Cusack. There's a moment when John Cusack goes and like I grew up with this concept of like what love is, and then like romantic, like how could you find love in that sense? And then and then when I was a kid, I was thinking about it, I go like, there's things that I want to do in life. There are things that I want to do in life. They move me. They make me wake up every day and face life. I want to achieve things. And then suddenly I started like, I grew up, I started liking girls and shit and all the stuff. And then, then I met a girl and I fell in love.
Story?
I went, no, but this is the thing. This is the thing. I figured out I'm watching these tales that keep going in books and stories about this endless, amazing love that eventually with time I have come to realize this might be an illusion, but for some people might happen. I go like, if there is one person out there that could technically mean to you more than everything that makes you wake up during every morning, wouldn't you want to find that person? Like, is this true? Is this like actual?
Is that person just like heroin though? It's
Exactly.
distracting.
It's such a shot of heroin. Then ever since I go with that thought, then there's this point. There's this point in the movie, and when he goes, he sees there's the bridal shop, and he goes like, "This is a sign." No, this is not a sign. This is that, and he's all confused. He's trying to read this shit because he wants to find that. And I've been there. I've been in the moments in which you hear her name everywhere only because
You're listening for
because
it,
you're
and you
listening
want
for
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like all these things. It's all this, and I see him going through all this and go, "This is all an illusion. This is just you like this happened." And then suddenly, the moment he gives up, fucking from nowhere, this fucking
That's not
book
the
comes
scene.
to the
Okay,
thing.
I got a
then
problem
you
with the
see
story.
it.
That's not the scene that you said was your favorite scene.
It's the book. When
Oh, it's when he finds the book?
When she gives him the book, it's like
wedding gift. Yeah.
exactly.
Oh,
It's like
I
it's like
was-
it
I thought you were
makes
saying the
it
first scene.
makes me feel that you get to a point in which you go like okay, it's done. It's done. This is fucking completely unreal. Like it's just like whiplash. And then somebody hands you the book. And I go like,
The wife,
like
fiance. She should have just given him the ring
yes.
at that point.
You're so offended by that. You're so
yeah,
offended by
I
that.
was, yeah.
It's super offended by the fact that this guy just like, I mean, they messed
Apparently,
up.
Nick gets so much pleasure by just hating on this movie.
He really hates
Well,
the
look
movie.
at that smile.
I don't know. I just see
Like-
this.
Like Coco, no more glove shopping.
No more.
You stay the fuck away from Bloomingdale's.
This is LA. It's not even that cold.
Don't be hanging out that Waldorf.
They were in New York when they were shopping for gloves, not LA.
It's like no British accents.
Yeah.
The British accent is just like killing me
It's killing you.
in a good way.
You're such a hopeless romantic.
Sweating. I am. What do I want me to say? I mean, I was even afraid to say. I go like, what people's gonna think of me? No, this is-
What made you cry? You said you cried.
Because
When?
Because even when I
I never got close
for
to
some
to
reason
that
for
kind
some
of level
reason
of feeling in this.
I don't know. I just felt
yeah.
felt like this is awesome. This is just great. Like,
I mean, I had
like what is he thinking right now? What is going through the mind of this guy? But complete ecstasy of the fact that this is like it's unavoidable. This like he gets the book, he goes like, this is unavoidable. Like I'm gonna get exactly
I feel like
everything that I
this
want.
says something very.
Got it. So it's not
about
hard
you.
to make you cry. It's kind of the bottom line.
It's fucking. It's just crazy. I
I was
don't know.
gonna say
like,
I had plenty of moments that I was like, oh shit, oh man, but I was never like,
I did. I mean, I wasn't like,
Like, never
weeping,
even-
but
never-
you know, but it
never
was
even a
like,
feeling
oh
of a
god,
tear.
it was a mix of laughing and then just going like, you know.
I mean,
like
to
that.
me,
you snortled.
the
Yes.
the strongest
Listen, my Frenchie
moment
owner.
emotionally in the film for me is when Jeremy Piven decides he's going to break up with his wife.
When the credits were
Because
rolling.
I feel like he earns it more than John Cusack earns his breakup.
He's not gonna
Like,
break
'cause
up
we
with
can-
her.
what's that?
He buys the flower to go back with
Oh,
her.
he wants to go back
he
with
works
her.
it out.
Oh, he
Yeah,
works
he
it
wants
out.
to work
He
it
should
out.
break up with her.
That's what he tells her. How
I
to look. You
totally
look like a
misread
jackass.
something.
You know the
I
other-
watched it in a different movie.
But you know the other thing,
Which, by the way, was super predictable that was going to happen because the moment they said, like, oh, they're so perfect, they never fight, and they're always in love. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
oh,
yeah.
bullshit. That's a front because people do that in real life.
it's really, look at Nick. Look at Nick. It's like, of course, it's a front. Everyone knows
They
the
always
front.
act like things are perfect, and
Like,
they're
oh my
never
god,
fucking perfect.
I see it everywhere. All my couple friends are just like fighting.
As fair dad.
Oh, there's like a bug over there. It's awful.
All right.
We should eat it.
Do we want to do
Anyway.
final thoughts?
Anyway, yeah, I had a final thought.
You get one more.
But I lost it.
One final thought.
I lost it. Just
You
like
lost it?
keep talking.
You said
It will
the
come
same
back.
Thought in 3 different ways.
Yeah.
You say the same
Yeah.
thought. It's true.
All right. What's
It's
the
true.
score? What do you
It's
give it,
true.
Jose?
Like you go,
Jose,
guys. You
give
go,
it a
guys.
score.
Like,
Give
I'm gonna
it-
give it a fucking 10. I'm gonna go like fucking 10. This
right.
is one of my favorite
this
rant
building-
Are
comedies.
you high?
Stands by it. Stands
Yes,
by it.
Yes.
Stubbornness.
Yes.
Sheer will.
Like I won also because I won this episode. This is the most diverse episode we have ever had. I mean,
Why?
Nick is gonna come close.
it's the
to
most
zero.
divisive. It's the most divisive movie we've had
I'll tell
yet
you
for
right now,
sure.
Yeah, you got it on the head.
Why?
This is
Because
like-
there's
this is
3
like-
bearded people and 1 unbearded person, so
Also-
that's why.
Also,
Most diverse.
Because I don't know if
I
we've
was
had
a girl.
anyone like hate a film yet. It just hasn't
there you
happened
go.
yet.
No, yeah,
So,
Nick
like,
Well,
hated
this
it.
is-
Nick is gonna say
Nick
he
is-
fucking
yeah.
hated it.
So we'll hold off for a sec. Chris, what do you give this movie?
My final thoughts on Serendipity is Kate Beckinsale is still beautiful as shit. I love you. 8 out of 10. Watch the movie once. No need to go back and watch it again.
I like it.
8.
I feel if you watch it a second time too soon, unless there's like 15 years in between like me, it's just going to be horrendous.
Yeah, you don't need a
8
No.
out of 10. Got high scores.
8.
I
What do you
think
give
so.
it, Nick?
Come on.
Nick, what do you give it?
If it was a 10-story building, I'm hitting the lobby button.
Let's give it a
Not
1
floor
In
23.
the
or a
lobby.
0. Can we give
Not
a 0?
the basement.
Is it a
Go
0?
into the underground parking garage.
They don't have
P2.
basements in LA,
It's
so-
like not even Eugene Levy is like a 1.
Nothing can.
No, because Eugene has done so much more.
I think Nick just hates love.
Nick hates love.
I love love.
And
He loves
what
love.
about you, John?
I
John
give it
doesn't
a-
do scores.
Yeah, sometimes I don't do scores.
Did you watch it with your girl and then you scored?
I didn't.
That's
My
why
girl
you don't need to do.
didn't want to watch this movie, so she got out of it.
Smart
Damn.
girl.
Right?
It's if we're gonna be super offensive
Wait,
for
wait.
her.
So now
I do
the
want to
o-
give this movie a score, though. I have a score with this movie. I give this
Okay.
movie a 6.
He's with Rotten
I
Tomatoes.
think it
That's
has
better than-
enough going for it in terms of like there is some cleverness going on in the script. You know, they were able to have a little bit of fun with it. There are a lot of flaws though. Like I can't overlook that.
Here's a quick final thought for you.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't really do a consensus out of us, but do you think this is a chick flick or a guy flick?
I mean, it's a guy flick in disguise as a chick flick. Because
Yeah, I
you
don't
know,
Yeah.
That's probably why I
saw
like it.
Pieces of it with my girlfriend, and she was kind of more offended with, especially because of the what's her name, the fiance character.
it does pass the Bechdel test though.
The what?
Yeah.
The
It does
what?
pass the Bechdel test.
What's the Bechdel
The
test?
Bechdel test says that there are 2 women who talk to each other, 2 named characters who talk to each other who talk about something other than a man. and Kate Beckinsale and Molly Shannon do just that in at least one scene.
And also with the two roommates, they catch up before they start talking. What are you doing here? I'm marrying, and so
Yeah.
they,
So
like,
Molly Shannon gets all that.
yeah. I still can't remember the thing that was what I was gonna say.
But
A second.
I don't know. I feel like it's more of a male fantasy. Just like Jose's dream romance situation right here.
Something like that. Yeah.
You are the target.
I am.
They hit
You're
a
the
bullseye
target
with
demographic.
you.
Like,
They hit a bullseye with you.
right on my head.
Target
Right on my
demographic
head.
over here.
But you can take your girlfriend to it and act like it's for her.
Lately,
if you want.
lately I've been talking to a lot of people about these all romantic comedies and all this stuff, and I've been finding out how like women are completely offended by these stories. Like, and this is just lately.
A lot of them are very chauvinist.
Like, it's just crazy. And then I go like, oh wow, but
And
then
defensive.
I hear what they have to say about the romantic comedies, and I'm just thinking like, you're not just hating romantic comedy. You like, there's no romantic, like,
You're hating romance?
It's like the whole like you want shit to be less than him, but you don't want him to be less than her, and you don't want nobody to just look for. It's like, what do you want? What exactly will be a romantic situation that is not neither chauvinistic nor sexist nor
Paying the
I mean,
utility
it's
bill.
just crazy.
This movie
It's
does
just
try to
crazy.
be fairly even in that regard.
It tries at least
In
like
that,
she
like-
doesn't beg for him. He looks for her as much as she looks for him. These just two people's like, and
He
then
looks for
people
her a
still
lot more
offended
than
by it.
she
Like,
looks
we're
for
like,
him.
I just not, I don't know.
This is a film you bring your girlfriend to, but you do not bring your fiance to, because then you're going to
Yes.
just accept her.
Oh wow!
You know,
No, wait,
yeah.
wait. Have you seen a movie
That's nice.
called
That's a nice touch.
regarding Bernie or something? It's with
Regarding Henry Harrison Ford.
No. It's with
That's a good
Paul
movie.
Giamatti. It's with Paul Giamatti called According to Bernie. According to, like, it's the you need to watch it. This guy literally.
You don't even know what it's called.
I don't remember the name of the movie. It's with Paul
Just
Giamatti.
IMDb Paul
It's with Paul Giamatti, but
something
there
Bernie.
is one thing that's
Weekend
like,
at Bernie's.
you need to watch this movie, and I'm just gonna say something because it's just part of the movie. That Nick needs to see
Nick,
this movie because
okay.
because it's Paul Giamatti, and then he meets his wife at his wedding. Like, this is just like, I saw this plot twist, and I go like, this is a story about a guy who marries a woman and falls in love on his wedding party with another woman, and decides to just pursue that one right there.
That
It's
is
according to
that's
Bernie or something.
That sounds like another
Crazy.
Jose
So basically,
movie.
the moral of all these movies
Crazy.
is: if you're not sure who the fuck you want to marry, don't say yes in the first place.
I don't know. Like,
Don't
it's
ask.
just, I used to
Or
like,
don't ask,
who
yeah.
wrote this according to Barney or something like that.
I mean, if the moral of Serendipity is like, be careful who you marry, maybe that's a good message.
Is there
Because you
really a
should be
moral?
careful who you
I'd have
marry.
loved to seen that proposal scene, because he never showed any emotion towards her. I'd have loved to just seen how he proposed to her,
It's true.
because
Yeah.
never does he smile at her or anything.
And I
The
think
pro-
the other moral is have a lot of money saved up because you're going to be running around like an asshole.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Get a-
they have
San
so much money to burn in
I
this
mean, he works.
movie.
He was a producer
yeah.
for ESPN.
It's
What did he do? He looked at a fucking LCD screen and
I
went,
know.
"Yeah, looks good. Do the B-roll tomorrow. I'm out of
I'm
here."
gonna roll. I'm just gonna like roll out of here. Do finish my work for me.
And did you notice that there was never anything else mentioned or shown with his job again?
No, yeah, I know. This movie is just like, God, it's all about the chase.
But it's the
I don't
best.
know. I still
All
can't
right.
remember the thing that I wanted to say, but let's just wrap it up.
Thank you
Gotta
both
go
for
to
joining
Jersey.
us. Thank you, Nick Landa, for joining us from California. You folks online, there's nowhere you can find him.
I'm hidden. I'm in
Chris,
the twilight.
thank you.
You can find him watching Serendipity secretly this weekend.
You can find Chris Piccione hosting his own podcast, Grime Life Podcast,
Grime Life.
co-hosting. And where else can they find you?
Twitter, Grime Life PCast. On Instagram, Grime Life Podcast. And you can listen to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, blah, 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 blah.
Lots of things.
Lots of things.
Lots of
Jose,
things.
where can they find you?
They can find me at Jose in Paradox. That's a Twitter, and JAVCH2, the number, at Instagram.
Instagram.
You can also find me in the streets of New York.
You can find him on the streets.
Trying to be
Like
serendipitous.
buying every copy of
Oh,
Life in the Time of Cholera.
He's just writing his name and phone number in all the books.
I'm gonna
And he's
write.
hoping that one day some
I'm gonna
girl finds
write-
and goes, "Oh, this is my
This is
other
my-
person."
I'm gonna write Nick Landa's name. I'm gonna be like,
and
Nick,
then they get.
add your number.
but he's gonna write 555 as your phone number, so
Yes.
don't worry.
Correct.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jon in Paradox. That's JON in Paradox. Follow the show on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Movie Club Collective. Or you can just search the words Movie Club Collective. Thanks so much for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening on iTunes, please give us a rating. Thank you so much for listening. Next week, we'll have another movie. We'll announce it tomorrow.
Yes.
I think it's going to be Hitchcock.
Hitchcock.
So I think we're going to go back and we're going to dip into some genres we haven't gone to yet.
I think you just need to stick with John Cusack movies.
Just
all
nothing
the
but
time.
John Cusack. We should do a season, a John Cusack season.
You should do one about war or something with his sister. I don't remember.
No, just High Fidelity. That's all you need to do.
Wow.
With his sister? What are you talking about? Grosse Point Blank? It's a good one.
Yeah, I think so.
It's better than Serendipity. I said it.
Yeah, it
All
is.
Fuck y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
This has been a J Squared production.